So, Dr. Dennis, if you could please give us a little introduction of yourself, name, role, any fun fact you want to throw in.
So I'm Jared Daniels. I'm the director of the McGuire Center for Lepidoptera and Biodiversity at the Florida Museum of Natural History.
Well, I'm Dr. Chase Billingsley Kimmel. I am the postdoc in the lab.
My name is Trudy Durgee. I work here at the McGuire Center for Lepidoptera and Biodiversity.
Do you think that the way that science is communicated today is a problem? Do you think, how could it be improved? What is your stance on how science is communicated today?
Science communication is something that I think will only become more important. I think sometimes, whether it's this day and age with media or politics or what it is, science sometimes doesn't always get the best rap. I really wish that there was better science communication so that people could understand the complexity of some of the problems that we're facing in the world.
How do you feel that science is communicated nowadays?
Oh boy, that's a good question. So I would say generally science, or a lot of times science is poorly communicated. I think it's inherently important that we communicate what is the value of science to the public, that they understand the process steps of science, and whether it be understanding how to pick the right food for your family, making political decisions, evaluating every element of your daily life. It is inherent in pretty much all that we do, and that it's not just the pure scientific method that you learned in high school. It's a much deeper way of talking about and asking questions, and so I think that is really important. And then I wish we'd have more of a conversation about science, not a one-way pathway of science. So I think that's really important because there's so many critical issues right now that we have to really make sure that people are not afraid to ask questions, that we're not putting up walls, we're having opportunities to have those conversations. And I think that's really critical because I think people really want to know, but are they getting the right information? Are they getting it in a way that they can actually ingest? And to have it more conversational than one way, I think is really critical.
What is your stance on the way that science is communicated nowadays? Do you view it as a problem, and how could you possibly see it being improved? What do you think needs to be improved about the way that we communicate science?
So, yes, I think that science needs to be communicated in a more effective way so that the common public can understand this. I myself struggle at reading certain scientific papers because they're very dense, they're complex, right? And so you need to have someone that can interpret those, or have researchers that can put them in basic language for people to understand. The difficulty that scientists have is sometimes these issues are so complex, it's difficult to simplify something where there's a lot of different factors involved.
Putting it into more general terms would help. Taking these papers and kind of summarizing them in a way that people could understand might be more helpful, but then at the same time, it almost makes it so simple that you don't get the actual point across. So there's kind of a weird dilemma with that.
And so we try to overly simplify them, and sometimes that gets us in trouble as well. So, I think the most important thing is I think given our in-tuneness of social media and videos and photos, I think presenting material that people can understand it in, say, visual ways, say, communicating visually, instead of having these written articles, in addition to those, maybe having video journals just saying, hey, this is what we did, this is how we did it, and this is why it's important. Having different forms of media to explain that instead of just having a written old school text.
Show the value of the research.
Yeah, you could definitely reach many different people that learn very differently than just reading intense papers.
So, how is science communicated at UF, and how can it be improved? Because granted, we do have wonderful content being produced at IFAS and at UF Explore and the Pi Center.
Yeah.
But my question is, who actually goes on those websites?
Yeah, I know, and I think that's sort of the traditional university, or a lot of the historic method is a traditional university method. You send out a press release, or you have videos running on, TV late at night, and highlights or whatever of researchers. And I think we have to be much more dynamic in how we communicate science. And so,
What do you think could be a solution?
well, I think, we went through a process with the museum, with actually the School of Journalism and Communications about, how students are getting their information. And, I think we have to be much more nimble in setting it out in a whole bunch of different pathways. Obviously social media, and I think for a lot of what we do, we're working with incredibly charismatic things. A picture isn't going to do that justice, but video can do it justice. So video through Twitter, through Facebook, through other media, I think even, the short snippets of video, it has to be dynamic. Science is inherently dynamic. And we work with incredibly wonderful organisms. I mean, if you can't sell a butterfly or Florida panther or Burmese python, you're really in trouble, right? So
You're just doing
we
it.
have to make that accessible and fun and engaging. And I do think we also have to make science fun.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the work that we've done here just in my lab, we paired up with First Magnitude Brewing and tried to take the conversation to the community. And if people come to the Florida Museum, they're self-selecting. They're coming because they're already interested theoretically in natural science. But if you go to First Magnitude or another place in downtown Gainesville, those people may not have even heard of the Florida Museum. And so the idea is to make it social, make it fun, make it engaging. And if they learn a little bit in the process, everybody wins. It doesn't have to be this 10,000-pound elephant to, having it that way. It has to be short, simple, fun, engaging.
Cast a wider net.
It has to, yeah, exactly, and dynamic. I mean, that's, you have so much competition for that narrow bandwidth
It's
right
people's
now.
attention.
Yeah, people's attention. So you have to make it dynamic. You have to make them want to skim down and click on that, and that's what we have to do better.
That's true. In that class, people are